there. You find all the details on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. To the Nigerian Tribune, Nigeria's public debt rises to 49 trillion naira. Nigeria's public debt rises to 49 trillion naira. All the details on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. And we move now to the Daily Trust. Naira devaluation. Nigerian banks heading for recapitalization. Capital base eroded by $44.5 billion since 2005. The Apex Bank source is speaking there. All right, we move now to the Vanguard newspaper. Forex scarcity persists as CBN resumes intervention. Banks ignore CBN's directive on domiciliary accounts. Another writer here says exchange rates converge around 770 naira to a dollar. Details on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. And to the front page of the Business Day, FMDQ set to go live with its exchange-traded derivatives. FMDQ set to go live with its exchange-traded derivatives. You find all the details, and it says position to convert uncertainty to financial security for businesses. Details on the front page of the Business Day. To the Business AM now, Buhari, Silva, Kyari, NMPC's $2.98 billion phased refinery repairs hit dead end. Some riders here now, local engineers at sites sent home. Fund drawdown dry up. Right, details on the front page of the Business AM. To the front page of the national economy now, $21 billion divestment in Nigeria's upstream oil sector. Dangerous signal. $21 billion divestment in Nigeria's upstream oil sector. A dangerous signal. Some persons are saying this. You find all the details on the front page of the national economy. Ibrahim?
Yes, the paper that I have with me here is led by the Daily Times, which is first, soldiers intercept oil-laden bunkering boats in Niger Delta. That's according to the Daily Times. Next is Blueprint. 6 Nigerians die, 30 with mental cases as Hajj rites begin today. And the writer reads, Nakon airlifts 95,000, millions of pilgrims move to Mina. Next is Leadership newspaper. Insecurity is the kicker, and the headline reads, hope rises for northern businesses with new service chiefs. Hope rises for northern businesses with new service chiefs. Daily Sun, ISWAP Boko Haram in supremacy battle. And the writer reads, scores killed as groups fight for territory control at Lake Chad, Borno. Next is Abuja Inquirer, Agbakoba, Togo, others to Tinubu. Nigerians experience hardship. Agbakoba, Toyo, others to Tinubu. Nigerians experiencing hardship. That's according to the Abuja Inquirer. This Nigeria is next. Flood of tears. Abuja residents sacked by flood recount ordeal, and over 100 buildings submerged. Next is Nature News. Why Lagos ranks 4th least livable city in Global Index. Why Lagos ranks 4th least livable city in Global Index. First News, electricity. And the headline reads, prepare to pay higher tariff from next week. Discos tell Nigerians, and blame development on fluctuation of Naira in exchange rate market. The Guardian newspaper, 40% hike in vehicle duties worsens transport crisis. Poverty, 40% hike in vehicle duties worsen transport crisis. Poverty. The Nation newspaper is the last but not the least. Why discos are bent on electricity tariffs increase. AEDC fluctuation of Naira exchange makes upward review inevitable. That's the Nation newspaper.
All right, Ibrahim, let's quickly look at what a majority of Nigerians, and obviously it's not only Nigerians now, are looking forward to the cabinets, those who make up the cabinets of this current administration. Recall that after the president, brought in new service chiefs, attention now turned. We had moved from the 10th Assembly and then went to service chiefs. And now it is those who will be at the cabinet. Because the president already has a vision in place, and everyone is looking forward to those who will constitute his cabinet. And the UK is already speaking. The UK British High Commission to Nigeria, in person of Richard Montgomery, was speaking over the weekend, and he says that what they are interested in is bilateral ties with Nigeria. And so they are looking forward to those who will make up the cabinet to determine how they will strengthen the ties with Nigeria. They have seen steps taken by the president with regards to the economy. The changes he made, the removal of fuel subsidy and the suspension of the CBN governor, as well as the unification of the foreign exchange. And so they are saying that these are steps they believe is in the right direction. And so they are seeing those who will hold certain positions and know how to relate better with them to strengthen our ties with the UK.
Absolutely. Just like you said, moving from the first appointments to the National Assembly and then to the service chiefs. So we are not only looking at the ministers alone, because with those appointments, I've read in the newspapers, reactions have actually trailed it, saying that investors are now quite hopeful, looking forward to a better Nigeria, looking at the renewed hope. Mantra or the promise that this current administration is bringing to Nigerians. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of work to be done, a lot of things on the table to, jostle and ensure that everything is neat at the end of the day. So not only do we need ministers in terms of politics, although he himself, the CNC himself has already said, listen, politics is done. Governance is what is next. Let's face the issues for us as Nigerians. So we are not only looking at people with competence and character, as he has said, but then I would add my own capacity, because people who have demonstrated, through their track records, who have done a lot of things, not people who you are looking to compensate with, oh, you voted for me. This person represents certain region of this country, although the issue of federal character will not be jettisoned. But then meritocracy should take the lead. Absolutely.
The president has said that his cabinet or his government will be a government of national competence. And we know that if you are looking for competent persons, you can find them across the country, whichever region you look. And he has a track record of headhunting persons who are competent, looking at Lagos State, for instance, and over the years. So Nigerians are looking forward. You would expect that the expectation is high because of the antecedent he has already. That is why expectations are high that, okay, the persons that will occupy these positions are persons who are competent enough to deliver on whatever portfolio they have been given. And beyond that, we are also looking at a process of healing the nation.
Correct.
As much as we are looking at competence, there are those who are also saying, look at balance, whether it be religious, whatever it is, regional. Yes, let's have that balance, the federal character that you mentioned earlier, which is also of concern to majority of Nigerians, because if you look at the reaction that came up when we had the names of the security chiefs, a lot of persons were looking in this direction. Oh, certain regions were not represented. But eventually, they realized that these regions were actually represented. In fact, some persons were saying, oh, thanks be to God, we have some representation because of the situation we have faced in our region, security-wise. And so, going forward, we believe that, or Nigerians believe that, the president will build on all that he has been doing right from day one that, he kick-started, every activity with regards to this government.
It does makes a lot of sense. Some are also saying, fine, we are looking forward to the kind of people who will be forming the ministerial cabinets. What exactly are they going to look like? What have they done before? But in their numbers, we are looking at cost of governance. Let us reduce the amount of money, the resources we pour into, a governance, running the cost of running governance in Nigeria. So the 36 ministers that we have, it has to be reviewed. They, maybe going through the constitution, or it just must be, reviewed because Minister of States,
Right.
we have Minister, and we have Minister of States.
Yes.
Duplicity
recall
of
that, what's his name now, came out to say that Minister of State is actually an aberration to the law, that there's nothing like
it's
that.
redundant.
There's nothing like that in the Constitution. So Nigerians are also looking to see if the president will also look into that direction, that we would not have that kind of representation. Yes, we just have a minister who has certain portfolios, and then there are those who are saying, okay, unbundle certain portfolios such that we can have some level of efficiency, right? So people can deliver. For instance, you're looking at power. Now, I recall that there were some portfolios that were merged initially, but it had to be broken down so that we can get results. So whoever is taking up this portfolio is able to deliver so that Nigerians can feel the impact of this person who is in charge of that portfolio, who is taking that position. Then there's also the aspect of representation. The youth now are also speaking.
Yes.
They're asking, do not forget what you said.
Yes, because
he said, I hear you loud and clear, and that he was going to, involve them one way or the other. Will we be seeing that representation? There's also the persons of talking about those who are physically challenged, talking about representation as well.
Persons living with
disabilities. They are saying that will we also have some representation in this cabinet?
You can rest assured that this administration will be quite interesting because it started, during the politicking, electioneering, it was a lot of noise. It was a lot of hullabaloo, so to speak. But then when it started, it was some people who never believed in him, who had never even, or who refused to even know the man called, Mr. President Tinubu. They are beginning to change, change from their previous mindsets, like, so this man can speak this way, or this man can actually do this. So
he already knows what he was going to do.
A lot of eyes are on him. So, and there are so many reports that can be implemented. For instance, in 2011, there was this report, talking about, looking at the bureaucratic aspect of this, of running governance, the cost of governance, duplicities. Oh, come on, what am I saying?
Talking about
duplication of roles, you understand?
Talking about some ministries, departments, and agencies,
all of that. So
some can be merged.
Absolutely.
Some can be left redundant because they are not. There's nothing much that they are doing.
That's to tell you that Nigeria's situation is so hard that even when you try to remember certain words, you find it very difficult to even put it on your mouth because it's so large that we need to look at it. Talk about infrastructure development. You mentioned the aspect of the economy. You also mentioned the aspect of power. That's very sacrosanct.
Security and all of those.
We can't change it.
Yeah.
Because if subsidy is being removed and we want to ensure that the cost of governance is reduced, then we should ensure that something that will serve as a solace or that will serve as a respite for Nigerians, which is electricity, should not be, should be looked into and ensure that everyone benefits generally without a section benefiting more than the others.
All right, we'll leave the conversation here now, but bottom line, stakes are high. Nigerians are expectant with regards to those who will be holding one portfolio or the other in the coming days as they look forward to the persons that the president will put together as members of his cabinet. We'll leave the conversation here now. Coming up on TVC